Bruce, congratulations on 25 years. Give me the feeling right now, this is crazy, right? I mean, you're the center of attention all the time, standing in the octagon, but never like this. What's the feeling like right now?
You know, it feels amazing because, like, this is a huge honor for me. You know how, John, of all people, you know how passionate I am about being the voice of the octagon, working for Dana and all the powers that be at the UFC. I love it. And my passion just keeps getting stronger. I mean, I wish I had another 5 years. Who knows? Because I'm ready to rock and roll for 25 more. I can't even imagine 25. It's just gone by so fast. Man, if there's ever an example of time flying, I guess this is it. But I want to thank the UFC for the beautiful tribute they did tonight. I did not expect that. That really caught me like a side shot to the head, and just so beautiful. Thank you, my beloved UFC. Thank you, everybody.
It's crazy because, I mean, you've been here since almost the beginning, a little bit after, but I mean, so much has happened. But when you hear that number, 25 years, I mean, what does it mean to you? I mean, did you ever imagine you'd be doing it this long?
Well, it's 40% of my life, so that's a lot. The one thing I always tell everybody is that back in 1996 when I got involved with the UFC, I realized this was going to be the biggest thing happening in fighting sports. I realized it was probably going to be the biggest thing in sports. And that's why I stuck with it. When you stick with something, when I set a goal, I stick with it to the end. I'm a loyal soldier. I wanted to do everything I could way beyond being the voice of the octagon and the octagon announcer for the UFC because I love the organization. I love the sport. I love the honor of announcing these female and male octagon warriors, the greatest fighters in the world, some of the greatest people I've met, the friendships I've made, the relationships with the media, with fighters, with the people I work with. This is like Boy Scouts go to camp, man, every weekend. Let's face it. I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah. When the honor was played tonight, I saw a lot of people on social media saying, listen, when Buffer does hang it up, like, this thing's just not going to be the same anymore. Nobody can replace him. I mean, when you hear that, what do you think? I mean, I know you believe in the company and you believe in the brand, but when people say it's going to be missing something when you do walk away, what do you think?
When it comes my time, when I announce my retirement, which won't be again for years, when my passion wanes, then I'm going to retire. That's just the way it is. I mean, I'm the first one to cash the paycheck on a Monday morning at the bank like anybody else, but I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the love of what I do. I'm a fan first and an announcer second. And as far as it never being the same, the bottom line is, we all make our mark in life. And when I leave, I just hope that people respect the fact that I always gave 100+%. I always gave my all. I always put my passion into it to enhance this moment for the fighters and for the fans. And, I did it the way I did it. I did it my way, as Sinatra says. And somebody else will come along and they'll do it their way. I can only answer for what I do when I do it. And I love what I do. And that's all I can tell you.
It's the last thing for me, Bruce. Obviously you go where they tell you to go and do what they tell you to do. And I know you're always willing. But are there any, check marks left that you want to do? Are there places that you want to go? Is there some kind of presentation? I mean, is there anything left that you want to do before you do hang it up?
I've had a lot of bucket lists that have been crossed out, and there's more to come. As far as in the UFC, I just want to continue to announce these great warriors. I've had the Super Bowl commercial, but I would love to be on the field for the Super Bowl one day, announcing everybody coming out of the tunnel and start off the game. I've done it for the NFL, the NBA, hockey, baseball. I've done it for all the sports, so there's always another accomplishment. There's always another mountain to climb, and I'm always open for a challenge. Let me parachute out of a plane and parachute into a stadium and yell it's time as I land. I'll do it. You asked me to. I'm there. I'm always game for something.
Bruce, in the front. Over the last 25 years, we've obviously seen not just the sport, but the organization kind of unveil things that probably not a lot of people expected, but I'm sure you've kind of become, I don't think desensitized is the word, but I don't know if you can be caught off guard by anything anymore. But is there anything the last 25 years that has genuinely, you just did not expect, whether it be the sale, the ESPN deal, the Reebok deal, or anything?
The expectations I had for the UFC were always high. Like I said earlier, I knew it was going to be the biggest thing in fighting sports, if not the biggest thing in sports. When Dana White and the Fertitta brothers bought the UFC in 2009, when we were down to maybe 1,500 people in the audience, we were off in demand, we're only on DirecTV, and the internet and the fans are keeping us alive, I knew that was the savior. And then when they took it and they managed it the way they did, and then when the tough finale of the very first Ultimate Fighter happened, and we saw them go at it, Bonner and Forrest, it was another level of achievement. And then when WME bought it and they made that big sale, it was another level of achievement. The beautiful thing about the UFC is every time I think I've seen the greatest fight or the greatest show, it's like 3 months later, I see the greatest fight or the greatest show. The UFC always brings entertainment. It never goes stale, and it's only getting better. And a lot of that, if not all of it, is due, again, to the powers that be. You've got to really, I thank and I bow to Nate every time I see him for his passion, for his diligence, for his goal setting, for him to keep this going the way it's going. even after selling it for $4.2 billion, and he's still keeping it the way it's going. I mean, how can you not want to work for people like that?
Has an idea ever been presented to you that you thought you thought to yourself like there's no possible way that could happen, and then of course they pull it out?
No. I think the only thing that ever happened to me is when I severed an ACL inside the octagon. I never thought that would happen, or some of the other situations I've been in. But it doesn't matter. I can do this with one leg. I can do this with a busted back. I can do it with the flu. I can do it with laryngitis. And trust me, I've done it after a major operation I've never even told you about. The bottom line is, these warriors are fighting, okay? I can get in there and always do my job to honor them. That's my job. The show's not about me. It's about them. I serve them, and I serve the fans, and I serve you.
Bruce, over here. Just real quick, right here on your left.
Hi, how are you?
I think it's safe to say you've loved the game, and the game has loved you back.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, you've done so many announcements. What is the most nervous you've ever been to go out there for any reason, any show?
The very first show, Bayamon, Puerto Rico, February 16th, 1996. I got nervous then. I got nervous maybe for my first full show at UFC 10. But it's like a fight. Whenever I fought, as soon as I got punched in the face or punched somebody in the face, and it's on. Let's just get it done. I don't get nervous. I get excited. I get rushes of adrenaline. You see the way I am before I go out for the main event. I'm getting my head in the game. I have to give it my all. Every night I walked out there is my first night to prove to Dana, the powers that be, the fans, the fighters, yourselves, and myself that I deserve this job. And I'll be the first one to leave when I don't think I deserve it. Trust me.
Was there one show that you remember just everything seemed to happen? You didn't think you were going to make it to that show to announce them, and you just did it? What's that one for Bruce Buffer?
I've always made every show, but I probably the egg on that Joe Rogan and the fans gave me for 6 or 7 months to pull a 360 in front of Brock Lesnar or at UFC 100. I was kind of surprised that came off the way it did, but, when you say you're going to do something, and I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'll always back it up.
Obviously, it's family business announcing somehow with Michael Buffer. One night only, just out of nowhere, do you think you'll ever say, let's get ready to rumble, just randomly for the fun of it?
Absolutely not. That is Michael Buffer's. That is his. He created it. It's about him. It's always going to be about him, just like It's Time is about me. I respect that. I never wanted to be Frank Sinatra Jr. I wanted to stand on my own laurels and be Bruce Buffer, and that's exactly what I set out to do. I told myself for 2 years after I started this job in '96, if I couldn't develop my own style, I was going to quit. I didn't want to be the guy. I'm the guy that sews his coattails on. I didn't want to be the guy riding the coattails.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. Listen, the media, without you guys, I appreciate everything. It's an honor. Thank you.
All right, there are 4 performance bonuses tonight. Polyana Viana, Hernandez, Marquez, and Usman. They all won $50,000. Congratulations.
Dana, the main event turned out to be every bit as good, I think, as anybody could have hoped.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on what you saw out there tonight?
I've been waiting for this fight for a year. I was excited for this fight. I knew this fight was going to be great. for all the attributes that Usman has, his chin is probably his best one. This guy's got a chin from hell. He took some big shots tonight and just kept coming forward. And, I was just talking to him back there. He said, he buzzed me with that first shot. But, I've been there with him before. He always throws. He said he used to get hit with that punch when they used to spar, and basically it just made him mad. And he said I'm going to finish him. So, the kid's the real deal, man. He breaks GSP's consecutive win streak record tonight, and for the people that actually know about fighting, they know that this win tonight was a big deal over a very motivated, well-trained, mentally tough, confident, badass kid.
Over the years, it's funny because, you've had stars that are incredibly talented that take a while to take off, right, to really get the respect they deserve. I mean, famously, like Anderson Silva didn't get respect for a long time. Do you feel like a night like tonight where he's tested, he shows character, he wins in a way that's exciting, not necessarily just grappling? Do you think this might be a moment where his star does start to rise a little bit?
Yeah, you never know when that's going to happen. Listen, this guy's got nothing but badass dudes lined up ahead of him. He's still got... He should have, if he doesn't have the respect now, he should have got it after the Covington fight. I can't stop talking about the Covington fight. It's one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. Anybody who didn't respect him after that, you're just, that's your problem, not his.
Yeah, no question. We're always looking to what's next. You teased that Colby Covington-Leon Edwards fight. Was any progress made over the last, day on that?
No, I just said that's the fight that makes sense. I mean, what I said was the kid took a fight with Hamzat, and he's ranked number 3 or 4 in the world, and he's fighting a guy that's ranked number 15. All the shit that guy's been through, he should go this way. Well, if he goes that way, it's Covington. So no, it's not done. That was yesterday that we talked about that.
I know. Yeah. Things happen quick. They change every day. Kobe just said it, right?
Yeah.
The other one I want to ask you about, though, it sounded like I didn't hear his comments, and we haven't talked to Kamaru yet, but it sounds like he went in pretty hard on Jorge Masvidal as well. Would you consider doing that rematch ahead of either Covington or Edwards, or does that not make sense? Obviously, from a star perspective, it would seem to make sense.
Listen, there's a lot of options for him right now.
Fair enough. Last thing for me,
and if that's the fight he wants, then that's the fight Masvidal wants, and I'm sure the people would like to see it too. So, I don't know, but I don't know if I've ever told you guys this or not, but I don't make fights the night of the fight. But
wasn't aware of that. I'll note that moving forward.
All right, so you guys are aware.
Last thing for me, just curious if you had any updates on the physical condition of either Bobby Green or Jillian Robertson. Obviously, we lost both those fights just before the fight. So, any update on those?
Bobby texted me tonight and said he's fine, and he said, I'll make this one up to you. And I said, all we care about is that you're okay, kid. It's all good. And then I have Jillian's number. I was going to call her during the fights, but I haven't called her yet.
Yeah. Do you know if there's any chance of keeping those fights together and rescheduling, or just not sure?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks.
Hey, Dana, to your right here. I wanted to ask you about Usman's jab. It seemed like trouble in the first round. That jab really turned the fight around, I thought. And there hasn't been many jabs that good, I don't think, in the UFC that I can remember. Would you agree with that? Do you think he has one of the best jabs you've seen in this company?
Definitely tonight. I mean, he looked damn good with that jab tonight. Was landing it sharp, hard, and fast, and he dropped him with a jab. Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that Kamaru, is a wrestler and a guy that's a great grappler and everything, obviously he showed his striking before, but he wanted no part of the ground, and yet he still won the fight. That diversity is kind of what makes guys in this go from very good to great, is it not?
Yeah, I think that, the way that the fight was playing out, it would have been absolutely ridiculous for Usman to jump down there in his guard. He was hurting him on the feet. Keep it standing. Do not dive into that guard.
And, Gilbert Burns, I mean, here's a guy that fought a great fight as well. I mean, he was a tremendous opponent. What do you think was the key to him getting to where he was? Because this was a guy that, he had a great record, obviously, but did not look like a championship contender at lightweight. In this weight class, he looks like a killer. Do you think it was just the weight, or was there something else he did?
Well, I think it was absolutely the weight. I mean, when you look at what he's done since he moved up, it was definitely the weight. And the reason he got to where he is because he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu multiple-time world champion. And he didn't care about going to the ground and getting taken down, and the guy hits really hard. So he had no problem standing and trading, or didn't matter where the fight went, the guy was dangerous. He's a jiu-jitsu guy who has heavy hands.
And then last thing, to go back to Kamaru, you think of like Joe Louis had the long, whatever it was, 25, consecutive wins and everything. Usman's, what is he now, 18, I think it is?
17.
17?
Yeah.
How long is it realistic with the kind of guys he's going to be facing, in your opinion, to go? Do you think he could get to 20 consecutive wins?
That's why I was talking the other day during all the press, and I was saying, people kept asking, when do you think, is he going to be a breakout star? Is he going to do this? Is he going to do that? I said, what's going to happen is, if you look at all the guys that are lined up that he has to fight next, and he keeps doing what he's doing, we're all going to pop our heads up one day and start talking GOAT. If this guy can continue, it's not just how are you fighting, are you winning, it's who you're fighting. And this guy has nothing but straight killers in that division that he has to get through, and possibly twice, some of them.
Dana, at the beginning of the fight, Kamaru didn't touch gloves with Gilbert. They had the intense face-off before the fight even started. Do you think it's fair to say Kamaru felt pretty disrespected by the whole gym change and Burns coming for his title?
Nah, I don't know if that played into it. I just think a lot of that stuff is either part of the head games or in the moment type stuff. They just, I don't want to touch your glove right now. I want to punch you in the head, So I you'll have to ask him that question, but I would imagine that it's more that than disrespect.
Obviously, we haven't seen the reaction play out just yet, but do you think it's safe to say that Usman is probably one of the most underrated fighters on the roster?
By who? Not by me.
Fair enough.
Not by me. Yeah, maybe listen, you when you look at what, like you guys asked me yesterday, the negative talk going into this fight or whatever, you have casual fans that will come in for the big ones, and then you have hardcore fans that will watch everything, and there's different groups of people that come and go. We can look at who's watching and know who watches, 10 a year, who watches this. We can do that with the pay-per-views. And you have totally different groups of people that come in for different fighters. And, the people that know. I mean, for anybody to say that Usman's not, you don't know anything about fighting. And that's okay. Maybe you just jump in and you like to watch it because it's the thing to do, and Connor's fighting or this guy's fighting. But if you know anything about fighting and you don't think that Usman is, you really don't know anything about fighting.
And last thing for me, a special night for Bruce Buffer tonight. I was just going to give you the opportunity to say what Bruce means to your business and as a member of the brand.
Yeah, I think that Bruce is one of the greatest of all time. In that clip that we did on him, I was talking about when we first took this company over and I came in and took over all the production, I was deciding who was going to stay and who was going to go. And, Bruce was one of the guys I obviously kept. And I thought that Bruce had great potential to be who Bruce is today.
There's a lot of talk about, obviously, Kamaru possibly like a breakout star in the media and everything, but at what point do the odds makers have to start giving him these massive betting odds? Because he was minus 270 now.
I thought they did. I mean, he was a 3-1 dog. I didn't think that this fight was 3-1. I didn't think it was because, in saying that, you're saying that Gilbert Burns is a 3-1. There's no way. Gilbert Burns is not a 3-1 dog, but Usman is that good. He was that good tonight.
Then earlier on the night,
if you're betting, you bet Gilbert all fucking day at 3-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Earlier on the night, Anthony Hernandez had a big submission win. Talking about odds, he was 30-1 to submit Rodolfo Vieira. So what'd you make of his performance?
Incredible, man. Incredible. I mean, that was one of the fights that we picked to be a great fight tonight, and it was. And even the commentators were talking about during the fight, nobody wants to come in and fight this guy. Nobody does. Hernandez did, and it was what we thought it was going to be, man. It was awesome.
And then co-main event, what did you think of Alexa Grasso?
She looked incredible tonight. Listen, Macy Barber is a gangster. This woman believes that she's going to be the champ before, and she comes back from her injury and she is ready to go. Grasso is a girl that we were looking at a long time ago. We thought like she's going to be the Ronda Rousey of Mexico. You know what I mean? You know, she had a couple of speed bumps in her career, but boy, she's on point now. Her punching is crisp and clean, and the distance, you know, that she kept, and she couldn't look any more perfect tonight, going against an absolute savage.
Then finally, did you catch any streamers this time? I know you had a.
So it's interesting because, you know, you don't know how into this I am. I'm very, very into this, and you know, not a lot of them were streaming tonight. We were going to go after one of the big ones tonight, and they did not stream tonight. So, yeah, we keep doing what we're doing.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
Hey, would you say this was the best performance of Kamaru Usman's career so far?
I don't know, man. That Covington fight, it's. I just think that him and Colby Covington is one of the best fights I've ever seen. And say what you want, think what you want about Colby Covington. Colby Covington's a bad dude, man, and he dominates everybody that he fights, and he's the real deal. He's very good. And if you look at the war that he and Usman had and how Usman finished that fight, it's one of the greatest fights I've ever seen. So he looked damn good tonight, but he looked really good in that Covington fight.
Jorge Masvidal's management just tweeted out, "Tough, let's do it" with Kamaru Usman. Do you like that? Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal, the ultimate fighter this summer.
Look at these guys making deals on Twitter. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll see.
And lastly, speaking of Twitter, Nate Diaz, he's been very vocal on Twitter. We don't have a matchup. He doesn't want to do 155. Talks about 170, trading barbs with Conor McGregor, Leon Edwards. Do we have any talks with Nate Diaz? Are we close to booking
Why do you
him?
guys keep asking me about these guys? No. If we did, we'd announce it. We'd say it. You know, you guys eat this shit up like fucking candy.
Dana over here, on your left. Dana, obviously, Kamaru is very proud of his heritage. You have Israel Adesanya, also from Africa. Potentially Francis Ngannou could become heavyweight champion by the end of next month. Perfect world, when everything reopens, is 3 African UFC champions enough to make UFC Africa a reality?
Yeah. I listen, I think I answered this question yesterday. When we went to the Middle East, we have tons of Middle Easterners fighting on the card. When we go to Asia, we have lots of Asians fighting on the card. When we go to England, we have lots of English and Europeans fighting on the card. Yes, if we do a show in Africa, which we do want to, we want to go everywhere. You guys have heard me say, I will do a fight everywhere on this planet. And Africa is one of those places. But to say that right now, I don't know enough about the future and what's going on and how fast this stuff will happen.
In terms of growing the brand and everything else, how important is it to have those local fighters from around the world? Obviously, everyone wants a Conor McGregor to come to their country, fight in their town. But what does it mean to the brand to have a champion from that area to help grow the UFC there?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Obviously, when you have a guy or girl who looks like you, talks like you, and comes from where you come from, and they are perceived as the baddest human being in the world, it creates a lot of interest in that area. It's the key to everything. It's big. That's our, you know, Asia. You know, the Weili Zhang thing is taking off, and we're starting to cultivate tons of good talent over there from the PI. And I mean, yeah, that's basically how this works and what we're going to continue to do. And I've told you guys, you know, it's crazy how things work out. That whole land deal fell apart in Mexico right before the pandemic. It was a blessing in disguise. But I will find some places in Mexico. I will build performance institutes. I want to do one in Puerto Rico. I'm doing one in the Middle East. And we're just, that's what we do. That's what we're going to continue to do.
My final question, were you able to talk to Tom Brady and congratulate him on his 7th ring?
I did. I talked to him the next day after the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Dana.
Yeah.
You did mention the expectation you have on Alexa Grasso. After her performance tonight, do you think she's going to be contending for a title shortly?
Well, Do I think she'll be a contender for the title? She was ranked number 15. Tonight's fight probably breaks her into the top 10. So she's got a ways to go. But boy, she took a big jump tonight with that win and heading in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Dana, straight down the middle.
Hi.
So Kamaru is on track to be one of the most dominant champions in that division. He was also part of the Black History Month promo videos. Do you see him kind of taking the next step, like into maybe the Modelo commercials or other forms of like marketing and promotion outside of when he's actually fighting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the big topic of discussion here tonight. I mean, you know, at what point to those type of people start to recognize Kamaru Usman and how good he is? And he's a good guy. He's well spoken. You know, good family guy. He's a great dad to his daughter. He's got an unbelievable backstory. Dresses really well too. I mean, he's the whole package. The guy's got the whole thing. It's just, you know, when are people going to notice?
Well, people could be your friends over at Endeavor, right?
People could be they're my friends.
I mean, you are tied to Endeavor, and
I'm also tied to 475 fighters that all need to be promoted. It's like, you know, to just say, oh, Endeavor can take them and do this and that. It's really not that easy, especially in this climate right now. You don't see a lot of sponsors throwing a lot of money around these days. We're in a really weird place right now. So it's just not that type of environment right now.
I want to ask you real quick about Macy Barber.
Those guys aren't even open yet. Those guys aren't going back to work till God knows when.
Yeah.
So
Just want to ask you real quick about Macy. She's 22. You know, what did you see from her tonight, even in the loss, that you think she can be building on? She's tough. Man.
She's a savage. Yeah. She's a savage. She's one of the most ambitious and toughest, you know, young women that I've ever met. So I expect nothing but big things for her. She's a baby still too. She's young. She's got nothing but time. You know, I know she put this unbelievable pressure on herself to be a champion before John Jones, and it's good to have set goals for yourself. But she's a baby, man. She's got nothing but time, and she's only going to get better.
Yeah, it looks like the first week of March, the Golden Knights are submitting a plan to get fans in. Conference basketball tournaments are going to have some fans in first week of March. Do you guys have plan? I know you have to submit a plan to the governor to show that you can do it. Do you guys have a plan to do that at all?
I got plans too.
You guys going to?
I'm not doing a percentage. I want to sell out.
So you won't do anything until it can be 100?
No.
Okay.
It's too nice over here. I like it here.
What has that conversation been like to fill the seats?
Yeah, listen, I said on ESPN the other day that I was optimistic that by this summer, we could be doing it, either in Florida or here. Good?
Dana, real quick, just when you compare Usman to GSP, I mean, you know, it's almost heresy to say anybody's in the league of George St. Pierre. Do you think Usman is at least in that class now? Can you say that he's in the GSP class?
He just broke his record tonight. Yeah.
But I mean, as an overall fighter, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at what he just did, he just broke his record tonight for consecutive wins. And if this guy keeps rolling, I mean, what we were saying earlier, if Usman can keep doing what he's doing, he's going to go down as the greatest welterweight ever. It's a fact. I mean, you just look at who he's fought and who he has to fight here in the future. It's undeniable that this guy will go down as the best welterweight. The question is, where will he go down in the history of the sport? Thanks, guys.
Alexa,
Hi.
congratulations. Obviously, a very big win for you tonight. Overall, how did you feel about your performance tonight?
Oh, I feel amazing. I feel strong. I feel fast. I think I show it what I told you. My ground game is getting better every time.
Yeah. A little bit of a limp to the seat there. Are the legs okay, or is there any concern of
I hope it is okay. I just at the last 30 seconds I felt like a little something weird on my knee, like a slippery. So yeah, I just want to come back Mexico and to see what is inside, so I can come back train as soon as possible.
I'm sure you would have liked to, to just use your striking and show your boxing, but you did get to show the ground game. So, are you happy with that, or do you wish maybe you could have gotten a knockout and finished with boxing, or do you like that you can show your game's evolving?
Yeah, I know, but like I said, she's a well-rounded opponent. I didn't want to take any good shot because she hits heavy like me. So yeah, it was more strategy. Take the things more calm. Put her on the fence, do my wrestling, do my jiu-jitsu. I show it this transition that I trained with my coach and teammate Diego Lopez, who's a black belt jiu-jitsu. I think it's right. I hope he can have an opportunity here soon. I've been training so hard for that.
Can you talk about the third round? Because you were up 2 rounds. She came out very, very aggressive. What did you think about that? Were you expecting her to be that aggressive in the third?
Yes, I knew she was coming for everything on the third round, so I had to be more intelligent and take it easy. Take it easy, calm down, and think better, and just do my job.
This is a big win for you in a big spot. And I know you said you want to work your way up, but what does make sense? I mean, are there names in the division that you think you would like to fight?
Well, I don't think I have to call anybody. I just want to fight and be climbing.
Sounds good. Last thing for me, I guess you have to get the legs checked out first, but do you have a goal of when you'd like to fight again?
Yeah, I would like to fight like June, July, maybe again, and before Christmas.
Alexa in the front. A lot was made before this fight of the strength that Macy Barber shows inside the octagon. So after spending 15 minutes of there, how strong did you feel?
Yeah, she hits hard, and I just thought that I had to take this. I was the veteran this time in the cage. I'm usually the youngest athlete in the octagon. This time, I was the veteran, so I used that on my way.
Then, especially in the first round, she was throwing a lot of jabs, but she was really far away. Like she was kind of throwing feints, and you weren't biting for them. So when you're seeing her throw these strikes from 4 or 5 feet away, what are you thinking?
Nothing. I just wanted to get inside, like do the thing and boxing and everything. Just waiting for the good shot.
Alexa, a lot has been made. She wins one, loses one. You were coming off a win. Did it get in your mind like, oh, this is one, I need to break the pattern, I need to get my second win in a row?
Yeah, of course. I know I had a win-lose and straw it. So yeah, I worked very hard. I learned it from that. So this year, my goal was that, to get in the win column.
What are you most proud of going into this fight, or after this fight with this victory?
Well, I feel amazing. I worked very hard with all of my teammates, with Irene, with Azul, with Diego, Alessandro, everyone who supports me at my gym. We are a small team, but we're working very hard. We are making the flag of Mexico on the top.
Dana said, when we signed Alexa Grasso, we thought Ronda Rousey of Mexico. That's a lot of expectation. How do you take that off yourself so you can grow and develop as a fighter in your own time?
Sometimes of course I want to be like that in Mexico, but you have also to be intelligent, to not let the hype and the media and all the volume and all the attention get more important than your training. So yes, I love that. I love to be hearing that, but I just want to be focused on training and getting better and better and better.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gilbert, thanks for being here. I know still settling in and probably a very emotional night for you, but I guess can you just give us your initial thoughts on how things went tonight?
Yeah, wasn't exactly where I want to be. I think I get overexcited, and when my guy Cody Garbrandt crazy, you know, as soon as I heard him, and that was the second time, you know, I think I did make the same mistake when I fought Dan Hooker, and I got overexcited, and then to become a champion in that game, I cannot make those mistakes, you know, and but like the way I see right now, I just want to do like Robbie Lawler, you know. He was the only guy, if I'm not wrong, that lost to Johnny Hendricks, and then just got right back, got a couple wins, fought again, and became a champion. And then that's exactly what I'm going to do, you know. I hope I don't get a crazy suspension, and then got back, rest, stay with my family a little bit, and I want to fight as quick as I can. I know I can do it, you know, and was almost done, but I cannot make those mistakes to become a champion.
Obviously, world title fights are a big deal no matter what, but you know, all the emotion and the friendship, did that make this more difficult? I mean, was it difficult to contain your emotions at all when you got in there tonight?
A little bit. I still like it, Kamaru Usman a lot. I have so much respect for the guy, and but when we get there, we're gonna fight. You know, he's not. You know, he's not a tennis. He's not a soccer. He's a fight. But I have a lot of respect for the guy. You know, I'm never gonna say nothing bad about him. I know his daughter. You know, all his family, and we exchange a couple good things. You know, and nothing. It is what it is. You know, I think when I go to the fight, I don't see face. I just try to finish. You know.
You know, the opening round, you caught him very early. I mean, obviously, we talk a lot about your jiu-jitsu, but your power was there as well. I mean, did you ever think that, hey, I may get this guy out of there in the first round? I mean, coming in, did you think you could get potentially a first-round knockout?
That was the mistake. I thought about it, and then I got caught. So, yeah, that was the mistake because I know I can hit any one of these guys, but in order to become a champion, I have to be disciplined. I have to be disciplined, you know. And then I went like my guy. So much respect for my guy, Cody Garbrandt. I just went the same way. As soon as I saw he was hurt, forget about the strategy. I just went to the kill, you know. And in order to be a champion, I cannot make those mistakes.
And I know, obviously, emotional night, but you guys had an exchange afterwards. You had a kind of an embrace in the cage. Can you share what was shared there?
Yeah. So Kamaru left the gym, and I think they need to get that done. I don't believe it's done yet. You know, when relationship is over. So a couple guys still feeling a little bit. I hope he, Henry, and the coach get the thing together. You know, I like all of these guys. I don't want a drama. I don't want anything. And he just talked to me like, I like you so much, so keep working. You were the hardest fight I ever had, and I still like you so much. And I just said, I like you so much. You like, I just want to become a champion. You know, it's nothing like even the thing that he said. You know, he wants to take food from your sister. Come on, bro. I know he made that. He just made that. You know, just to get that little angry. You know, like I love his family, and I even pay for his school if he needs to, you know. But I just want to become a champion, and I fail, you know. But it's all on me. I have a great team, and Daniel Evangelista, Vicente Luque, Coach Greg Jones, Wagner Rocha, all my guys, the same for IAGP. They did an amazing job. I had a crazy training camp. I felt great, but I got overexcited.
last thing for me. Certainly not the end of the journey for you, but I'm just curious what you want to do. I mean, is it time for some time off and go spend some time with the family, or are you going to be back in the gym on Monday and blowing up Dana for a fight?
I'm gonna fight again soon. For sure. I need faces a little. It's a little. I need a little time off with my family. Like with my kids and my wife. And but I'll be back as soon as I can. As soon as I heal up, I'm gonna be back, and I'm gonna fight anyone. As soon as I healed up, let's say 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, Dana, I'm gonna call you. You already know. I have so much work to do that I'm gonna watch the fight right now a couple of times. I'm gonna make my notes. The work doesn't stop. Even if I'm winning, I want to fight again soon, like I said. But no one is safe in that on that division. I'm just gonna come back as soon as I can, and I got a lot of work to do.
Gilbert, congratulations on a great fight. I wonder if you saw an improvement in Kamaru over the last, say, 6 months. I mean, he's a guy that's been getting better each fight. Did you see that improvement in him? Do you feel like he's a better fighter than the last time you trained with him?
Yeah, I cannot say no. He did pretty good. I hit him a couple times very hard, and then he stay disciplined. That's the thing with Kamaru. He's not quick. He doesn't hit that hard, but he's freaking disciplined. That's why he's the champion. And for me, the opposite. I got overexcited. Load up punch, and then that's what was my mistake. I should for sure hit him very hard, and I want to finish. That's natural on me, but it should be a little bit more relaxed, keeping that strategy, keep doing what I know how to do. But for sure, he's getting better.
It seemed like in the second round he came out and he was throwing his jab a lot more than he did in the first round, and that seemed to turn the fight around. What was giving you problems about defending his jab?
Because I was loading up so much. Because if I keep moving my head like I was doing, if I was light on my feet, he doesn't land on me. But I was looking for a big shot, and then I was kind of waiting. I want to counter, and that was my mistake. I don't think for sure he did good. But I made mistakes, to be honest. It was nothing that he adjusted. It was me stopping moving, stop being light on my feet, and I paid the price.
And then finally, at the end of the second round, you guys kind of came together and were sort of bumping shoulders. Were you kind of feeling it at that point, even though you said you made some mistakes? Did you feel like at the end of the second round that the fight was going your way and that you had it?
I did. Every single time I thought the fight was going my way, but I load up so much and then make a mistake, and it's the life, it's life. It's not even it's life. And the thing is with me is I'm a warrior. I've been through a lot, and then I keep going, and then that's not gonna stop me. I was super sad because I believe it so much. I work super hard. And I fail, so I'm gonna keep working. That's it. I'm just gonna take my time off. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, but I'm gonna be back.
Gilbert, you were saying that you felt like you rushed and you made mistakes. What in the game plan did you actually get away from, actually, in those kind of moments where the fight got a little more emotional for you?
I got very excited because I hurt him very hard, and I saw he was hurt, and I kind of started loading up so much. So the key for me was just keep doing what I'm doing, stay light on my feet. I knock him down, so he's gonna get back up. Just keep working. Then I believe my speed is different for that division. I believe I'm very quick, and takedowns. I think I didn't get a couple good shots. I could do better, and he was disciplined. I think it was both. Me, I was overexcited, and then he kept discipline. That was the thing that happened.
And if you feel like the friendship can move forward at this point, you guys could see each other again. How you feel about a possible rematch?
Yeah, for sure. I got nothing again. I don't, like I said, I don't see faces when I go to the fight. I want to be the best. And if he's in the best, and then I got my shot again, we'll be fighting again. But it's nothing personal, you know. I might text him tonight or tomorrow, and it is what it is, you know. I don't. To be honest, it's me against me, you know. I lost to me because I made a mistake. He's not even. I don't. For sure, he did a great job, amazing job. That's why he's the champion. But I lost to myself, you know. I made a mistake, and I cannot do it.
Fala, Dorinho, tudo bom?
Tranquilo.
Dorinho, o Usman mencionou na entrevista para a ESPN, logo depois da luta, que esse tipo de golpe que você acertou nele costumava acontecer nos treinos. Ele já esperava por isso. O jab dele também aconteceu. Agora ele já passou a luta, né? O que aconteceu ali que também aconteceu nos treinos e o que te surpreendeu, o que não acontecia?
O que não aconteceu foi que faltou a queda dele. Eu tava esperando que ele fosse me quedar ali, tava cheio de bote no jiu-jitsu ali, mas eu já acertei bastante. Muita coisa ali já aconteceu no treino, mas a gente nunca fez de treino de luvinha, né? Então, de luvinha ali muda muita coisa.
Certo, você já falou em inglês, eu vou te pedir para responder em português também, por favor. A sua análise da luta, você mencionou que teve um erro. Como foi aquele knockdown? Quão perto você acha que você chegou de acabar com a luta?
Então, eu achei que eu cheguei muito perto de terminar a luta e dali eu fiquei muito na emoção ali e eu cometi vários erros ali. Eu acho que eu teria que ficar um pouquinho mais calmo, continuar na estratégia ali, movimentando bastante. No segundo round eu parei de mexer a cabeça, foi onde eu tomei mais golpes, então eu carreguei muitos golpes. Então, eu acho que eu errei bastante, por isso eu não consegui levar a luta pelo meu próprio erro quando eu saí da estratégia.
Como foi a conversa com o Usman ali no octógono? A gente viu que você ficou bastante emocionado, chorou, se eu não me engano. Como foi esse approach? O que você falou para ele? O que ele disse para você?
Ele me abraçou ali, falou que gosta muito de mim, que eu fui um dos caras mais duros que ele já lutou e que para ele nada mudou, que ele continuou gostando de mim. E eu falei a mesma coisa e tal, mas ele foi bem tranquilo comigo.
Entendi. Ontem a gente viu que a encarada foi um pouco mais tensa do que eu imaginava. Hoje vocês não se cumprimentaram antes da luta. Até que ponto isso foi um fator que talvez mentalmente preciso me forçar a ter algo, já que eu gosto desse cara?
Não, da minha parte não, da parte dele talvez, da minha parte não. Já imaginei que talvez ele não tocaria a mão, eu imaginei que talvez ele não tocaria e visualizei isso várias vezes e isso aí não mudou muita coisa não.
Bom, agora passada essa luta, olhando para frente, eu sei que é difícil, acabou de acontecer a luta. Quando você acha que você poderia voltar, você tem algum tipo de volta, algum tipo de adversário, algo que você já tem em mente, data, rival?
Eu acho que eu vou ter que descansar aí umas 2, 3 semanas aí. Então, meado de março aí eu já estou voltando a treinar. Então, voltando a treinar em março ali, abril, junho, julho eu estou lutando de novo, que é o que eu acho.
Não importa com quem, não tem ninguém.
Não importa com quem o UFC colocar.
Certo. Última pergunta. O Dana White mencionou, muito se fala sobre o Usman ter batido o recorde de Saint-Pierre, que talvez ele possa ser um dos maiores meio-médios da história do UFC. Você concorda com isso? Você imagina, você consegue ver o Usman se mantendo campeão por muito tempo?
Acho que sim, eu acho que eu consigo ganhar dele, mas agora é fácil falar, né? Mas eu acho que eu mostrei muita coisa ali que dá para ganhar dele, mas eu tenho que ter mais disciplina. Então, meu objetivo agora é recuperar e pegar mais umas 2, 3 lutas aí e estar disputando o cinturão novamente. Yep. Anyone? Thank you guys. Have a good one.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Jim, congratulations on obviously a fantastic result against clearly a very dangerous guy. I know you're still probably letting it all soak in and want to go back and watch it, but give us your initial thoughts right now on your performance this evening.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, son. I got a call. What you talk? I know I hear you. Thank you. Oh God, we don't do it. We don't do it.
I don't want to watch you for after the post. Oh God! Hey baby, I love you.
Okay. Okay, okay. I will call you after I finish.
I'm your number one fan in the whole wide world, and still.
Thank you now. Thank you now. Lie. Don't tell them before Nanjano they ever carry lies. Okay, okay. I go call now after I did press conference right now.
Call me after.
Okay.
Call me after. All right.
That's my dad. If you guys didn't know,
It sounded like he was a little excited.
He was a little excited. You know, it's this one was a tough one because obviously I couldn't have him here to watch this because of the COVID, and plus I didn't want to cheat him of the experience. There's something very special about a UFC fight, especially in Vegas. And it's not the same experience without 25,000 people screaming for you. So I didn't want to cheat him of that. I want him to get the full experience when he comes to a fight. But that question, I remember your question. It was a little tough. This one was tough for me. This one was very tough for me because Gilbert is somebody that we kind of grew in the sport together. And it was somebody that we shared a common goal. We both wanted to be the best in the world. Obviously at two separate respective weights. But you know, it was a tough one for me because Gilbert, and first and foremost I want to say I'm proud of Gilbert. I'm very proud of him. Because a lot of people kind of wrote him off after he suffered that knockout at lightweight. But he recomposed himself, something that, you know, I'm no stranger of. He recomposed himself. He got back on the horse. He moved up on weight class, and he tore through that division. He deserved to be in there with me tonight, and I'm extremely proud of him for that. And that's part of the reason why this one was a tough one for me.
Yeah, I was going to say the tension early, right? I mean, you guys are right in the center of the cage together, staring each other down. There's no touch of gloves. I mean, was that a good thing for you or a bad thing for you? I mean, did it keep you on point, or did it make it even, you know, a little tougher mentally for you?
You know, this one was tough. Initially coming in, it was tough for me, but I said it earlier in interviews, like my mind is different than these guys when we get in there. I see no face. You know, that is my octagon. And I said earlier, you know, he said, oh, I have something he wants and he's coming to get it. What's more personal than that, than somebody that you grew up in the sport with, that you train with daily, looking at your food, looking at your plate and saying, you know what, I want his plate. You know, I'm not happy with mine, I want his plate. What's more personal than that? And I say it to these guys, anything you say can and will be used against you when you step inside that octagon with me. And I remember watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and I was like, oh, this guy thinks like I do. Because when I go in a competition with these guys, that's exactly how I think. If you give me anything, if I even hear you say in a video, oh, I'm gonna knock, what you gonna do to me? Oh, you better be ready to back that up when we step inside that octagon.
For what it's worth, he said tonight he'll pay for your girls' private school moving forward if he can get the belt at some point.
Of course, you know, I'll bring it back home, and you know, like I'm no stranger to it. Like I will definitely try to, you know, I know this one's gonna be tough for him, but you know, he's a champion in his own way, and he'll get back on the horse, and you know, I'd be more than happy to, you know, go to dinner with him.
Nice. He clipped you early. Talk about that. I mean, how hurt were you at that point? What's going through your mind? Because from the outside, it looked like you were hurt.
I wasn't necessarily hurt. I was just kind of a little off balance. Like the cage was slippery in there. I kept pouring water. If you saw in between rounds, I kept pouring water on the ground because it was very slippery in there. But the funny thing is that's exactly kind of how our sparrings went. He was a lightweight coming up, but he's got big power in his hands, and he's a hooker. Anybody else in the division, they get caught with one of those hooks, they're going to sleep. I'm a champion for a reason, and I recompose better than anybody. And so I just kind of had to recompose myself and listen to my coaches. They told me not to rush it. I know what I worked on this camp, and I just had to stick with the game plan, go out there and watch the whole fight come into fruition.
Yeah. Afterwards, after you get the stoppage, you walk around, you're saying, put some respect on my name. I'm curious, who do you feel like is not giving you the respect?
Everyone. The critics, the media, all of them. Not that I really give a shit, but I give a shit. I'm an artist, and I'm sensitive about my shit, So put some respect on my name. Like that pound-for-pound list is not a popularity contest, I haven't really lost rounds in here. I control what goes on inside that cage. And, it's just, I feel, just because I'm not the loudest guy in the room, I'm not the most braggadocious, I don't get in trouble outside, I'm not in headlines all the time. I feel like they kind of, let's be honest, they kind of disrespect me in a sense, That pound-for-pound list is not a popularity contest. I need to move up on that list.
And I know you kind of mentioned the emotions that were involved. You and Gilbert had a nice embrace afterwards. Can you share kind of what was said there?
Yeah, man. Like I said, this one was a tough one for me. When I step inside there's no friends. Like he said it himself. Just give you. That's how my mind works. He said I have something he wants and he's coming to get it. What? What's more personal than that? He said that himself, and so I had to go in and take care of business. I see no face in there. But once the fight was over, I had to come to it, and I realized that I just did that to somebody that I spent time with, someone I care about. I care about his kids. I watched them grow. And, it was very, very tough for me to have to do that to him. So I just talked to him, and I told him he deserved to be there. Everyone thought he was down and out, and he had to rebuild himself back up, move up a weight class, and tear through guys. He deserved to be there, and I'm extremely proud of him.
Last thing for me, I know you want to enjoy this moment, but I know you have goals to continue dominating the division. So it sounds like Leon Edwards and Colby Covington might be a fight that's coming up, but you also had some very strong words for Jorge Masvidal immediately after the broadcast. So do any of those names, is that Masvidal fight more important to you than maybe the winner of Edwards Covington?
Well, like I said, put some respect on my name for a reason. That fight, he had a built-in excuse. That's the only reason he took that fight. We tried to make that fight twice before. He said no. For the May, we know when Khabib and I think it was Ferguson, when they fell out, we tried. I called Dana right away. I said, hey, it's 2 weeks notice. I haven't really been training, but I'll step in if you need me to. And they tried to make that fight, but Masvidal said no. And then he did an interview to where he said, oh, well, the numbers weren't right and this and that. He's been saying no. The only reason he took that fight on Fight Island is because it was a built-in excuse. He was training the whole time. But he said, oh, I only had 6 days notice, so that's why that went that way. Well, guess what? I'll give you a whole training camp, and this time I will stop him. I promise you. That's why I was disappointed in myself that last fight, because I know I could stop him. But with all the circumstances that took place, I just went out there and dominated him from start to finish. So this time I will stop him if he wants to step up. But I guarantee you he doesn't want to. He's going to be quiet.
Is that the one you want, though, above anything else?
They can all get it. I don't care. They can all get it. They need to show me some activity, show me something, and step up, and and we'll take care of business.
Kamaru, what's that?
I was going to say, Kamaru, you're still a relatively young guy, but are you starting to think of your place in the history of this sport and in the division, given what you have already accomplished? And you won 17 in a row now, and the number of title defenses you have.
No, I'm not. The only part of history that I think about is the fact that I'm the first African-born champion, and what that means to all of the children, all of the people across the continent of Africa, and not just Africa, but all across the world. places like Indonesia, China, everywhere. That's kind of what I care about. With great power comes great responsibility, and the fact that I was able to do it with the circumstances that I was born into, that's really what's important to me. As far as where I am in winning, I don't know how many numbers you just said, but that's as long as I focus on my fight and take it one at a time, the rest is just gonna pile up. So I don't worry about those. And I know you guys tried to this whole week. You guys tried to throw me off by you get to pass GSP with this win, and I had to just block you guys out. I couldn't pay attention to that. I had to block you guys out, go out there, take care of business, and the rest is gonna pile up.
I wonder if you felt like your jab was a key. In the second round, you adjusted. It seemed like you started landing that jab. Was there anything that you learned from the first round that helped you there, and just the significance of that punch during the fight?
Yeah, going in, I was like, wake up. I was trying to wake myself up. Wake up, because it kind of felt like sparring to me. Yeah, of course I had the nerves, but it kind of felt a little like sparring to the point where I was like, yo, you need to wake up. This is a fight. This guy came here to take what you have. And so the best thing he can do was throw that big punch. Once he hit me, I was like, oh shit, we in a fight. We got to fight. And my coaches, George, they let me know a long time ago, like, you have a tremendous jab. You got to use it. And I don't use it enough. This camp, we try to stick with the fundamentals and just use it. Just work on it, and work on it a lot. And it showed out there. Once I kind of recomposed myself and started working it, getting his timing off and hitting them, my jabs feel like straight right hands to the face. And I just had to believe in it and just watch the fight break down.
And then, I don't want to go too deep in the weeds here, but many years ago, Joe Louis was a heavyweight boxing champion. Okay, Joe. And he fought Billy Conn, and Billy Conn, after being ahead after 12 rounds in the 13th, got knocked out. And he said to Joe, why didn't you give me the title and let me keep it for 6 months? And Joe said, you had it for 12 rounds and you didn't know what to do with it. And I'm wondering, almost like, Gilbert was in that spot tonight. He hurt you, and he felt like he kind of went crazy and trying to knock you out instead of staying within his plan. Do you feel like there was a similarity in that way, like that you stayed composed and he didn't, and that led to your win?
Absolutely. I think, I got this big shiny thing up here to where everybody's coming after. Everyone in the world is training for this. And so once he landed that big shot, that shiny thing looked real good to him, so he jumped on me and he thought he was going to get it. But, one thing I do better than everyone is recompose myself. I'm the champion for a reason. I mentally had to stay calm, recompose myself, start working, and I knew that I was going to get him out of there. Thank you.
Kamaru, you said it felt like sparring in there. Is that because it was Gilbert, or just because your energy was a little bit low anyway?
No, because it was Gilbert. Like I said, I spent so much time with him. I know him. I care for him a lot. So putting those emotions aside, he made it easier for me, because him and my former team, they kind of trolled me a lot. They were posting things, new champ coming, posting all of this. And this is a team that I gave my sweat and blood and years for. And so they kind of started trolling me and saying those things, and it got to me. It got to me a lot. But, I'm that type of person. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And so, I had to use that against him in there tonight.
Are you able to put that behind you now and move forward?
Absolutely. I'm a competitor at heart. I never want to come in here and maliciously hurt someone. Maybe the next guy, I might, but I never want to try to maliciously hurt somebody in here. I want to compete. That's what I do better than anyone. I compete. I am the best in the world because I can compete better than all these guys.
Was it hard seeing him that emotional after the fight?
Absolutely. It was very hard. I was trying. I was going to bawl I was in there, and I had to. I'm like, you're the champ. Come on, compose yourself now. I almost started bawling because I don't know exactly. I know what that loss feels like. I have a loss in my record. I'm not perfect. I know what that felt like. And I don't know how much he wanted this. Like I said, we grew in the sport together, and we had a common goal. And so having to be the one to do that to him, it almost broke me in there.
Sorry, man, I'm not trying to make you cry now. With Masvidal, it's quite clear when you talk about him that you really, really don't like the guy. And I know before the first fight, there was the build-up, there was the interaction at the media day and all that sort of stuff. But why is it exactly that you have so much contempt for him?
You know, the fact that I said what I said for a reason. Put some respect on my name. These guys don't understand. Like, I'm different. You would think he learned that the first time because I dealt with worse than he. Everyone was saying, oh, he took the fight on 6 days' notice. But guess what? I took it on 6 days' notice. I was here in Las Vegas, flying back home. They called me while I was in between flights in Dallas. I had to leave my bags, leave the airport, call my parents to pick me up at the airport. They picked me up, went straight to Target, bought a scale, stepped on the scale. Not to mention, I ate like a pig the night before because I said I have no fight. I'm 195 pounds when I step on the scale. Called the coach down there, Tony Cabela. I said, hey, Coney, come, we need to work out. Worked out like crazy that night. Got off about 5-6 pounds, and then I got on the scale. I said, we're within striking distance. The next day, flew back to Vegas, then flew to Abu Dhabi. I had maybe approximately 4 days. I didn't sleep at all to prepare for that fight. And he had a built-in excuse. He's like, oh, I took the fight on 6 days' notice. Give me 3 weeks, and I'll see what I'll do. I'll give you a whole training camp. And this time I want to stop him for real because I think that's the only thing that's going to close his mouth. He's pretending, walking around here like he's Jesus or something. Well, I'm going to put him in a coffin this time.
For what it's worth, I know you said you doubt his interest in the fight. His management,
Absolutely not.
His management are online saying they do want the fight, and they would like you guys to coach the Ultimate Fighter against each other. Any interest?
He don't want that fight. He don't want that fight. I guarantee you he doesn't want that fight. I wouldn't say it if I didn't want it. Have I lied up here yet? Have I lied to you guys yet? About anything? Nothing. I said what I wanted to do, and that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if it materializes.
And last thing from me, with this win, your name's starting to get considered up there as one of the best. How do you see a fight between yourself and Prime George St. Pierre playing out?
I love George. I really do. I mean, one of the inspirations early when I started watching the sport. But I am a whole different animal nowadays. It's a different ball game. I love George. I think George is tough. You know, I consider him one of the greatest. But a fight with me and George, okay. You know, you saw what I did with jab. George was a master with the jab, but you saw what I did with jabs.
Come on, right here. Looking back before you fought Tyron for the title there, I think there was like a stretch where you would go fight Damian Maia in Chile, and then you'd go fight Rafael dos Anjos. Like these guys coming off losses, but you're willing to fight them, and then you volunteer to fight Colby in January to save that pay-per-view, and then you even cut weight for a backup fight with Woodley and Till. As the champion now, you're seeing the top 5. None of them are fighting each other. They're all like calling for these big fights. How frustrating is it that you, the champion, and none of your contenders are competing with each other now?
I don't have to worry about that. I'm a champion. When it's time to feed me, they're going to find somebody to feed me. You know, I'm not worried about these guys. What does that say about the champion where the contenders don't want to fight each other to challenge the champion? What does that say? They know what, once they get up here, they know what's waiting for them up here. So, you know, there's like, well, I like being number 3 in the world. I'll stay here. I don't need to go up any higher. If they were willing to go up, then they'll fight each other and they try to get this title shot.
And when you look at someone like Stephen Thompson, that's the first fight, that's the highest ranked fighter you haven't fought yet, and then you even have to drop 2 more. So I think it's like Michael Chiesa too. So are you looking at these other guys outside the top 5 too as possible opponents?
No, I mean, I don't really care. I'm a fan of the sport, so of course my eyes is on what's going on. But no, you know, it's up to the company. They'll you know, Dana does a tremendous job at getting these guys. So, you know, when he feels like a guy's done enough, he'll present them to me, and then if we can agree on it, then, you know, we'll make it happen.
Hey, champ. Congratulations on the victory all the way back here. Now that this chapter's over, or not, maybe it's not over with Gilbert, do you ever see the day where you can go back and walk and train in Sanford MMA?
It's a good question. I never say never in life. You know, I learned that one early, so I just never say never.
And to get the respect that you deserve, do you think the next time that we see you, maybe it's a platform like The Ultimate Fighter to get the eyeballs that you want?
I don't know. I'm not dwelling. I'm not worried about that right now. You know, like I said, my job is to go out there and defend and win fights. Actually, not defend. I need to compete. I need to keep saying that. I don't defend this belt. I compete each and every time for this belt. That's how I approach this. So that's all I'm worried about. You know, I'm going to sit with Dana. You know, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to decide what we're going to do moving forward. But, you know, I'm not really worried about that right now. Right now, I'm thinking about my little girl.
And lastly, if you care at all, do you have a preference at who Leon Edwards fights next?
No, you know, I respect Leon. Leon's is done some good work. It's unfortunate that he hasn't been fighting as much as I think he would like, but much respect to him. Once he gets up here, you know, we'll do it again.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Kamaru, over here on your left. You know, you've seen a lot of champions have different reigns. Some guys were able to fight all of the guys in their division. Other guys, it seemed like they had those money fights sooner and, you know, did big business for them in a short span. I know the business, you leave it to, you know, your people. But when you think about your run, your championship legacy, what kind do you want it to be? Is it where you fought all the guys, or where you just had the biggest fights regardless of the numbers?
I just take it one fight at a time. I'm not really worried about that. You know, I don't come in and say, oh, I want a big fight. I want this. I want that. I mean, of course, I would like George, you know, but I don't want George because of money or anything like that. Like I said, I'm a competitor. I want George because George left on top. George can still do it. I see him training. Don't think I'm not. George, I'm watching you. I see you training. You know, George can still do it. So if there's potential for that big fight, you know, if George wants to come back, then of course, you know, George can cut the line, absolutely. But you know, I'm not necessarily worried about that big money fight right now. I'm just worried about the next guy, and that's what I do. I knock off the next guy, and I knock off the next guy. Then you guys look back and say, shit, he's beat everybody. That's all I'm focused on.
I know there's a lot going on in the lightweight division, but if any of those guys ever said, you know, I want to move up and take on the Nigerian Nightmare, do you feel like, you know, they would have to get in line because you have so many guys at welterweight?
Well, first they got to get through Justin Gaethje. So that's a savage down there. They got to get through him first, and then they can even look at this weight division.
How do you celebrate a night like tonight?
I'm going to go back to my room, drink a lot of water because I'm dehydrated. And I would love to call my daughter, but I'm pretty sure she's asleep right now. So just go in my room and try to decompress. You know, it takes a lot out of you going in there. I'm not a guy who has to party right away, you know, after a fight. You know, I like to go and decompress. Like, I mean, if I was getting paid, you know, I might go to a little after party spot. But, you know, right now I would love to just go in my room and just decompress.
Is there a reason you have the 007 look, or is it just the suit look good?
Man, I'm dressed for business. You know, when I come in here, it's all about business. It's no games. You know, I'm very calculated. If you guys haven't realized by now, it's no games to me. You know, this wasn't I saw no face, no friends, none of that. Even to the walkout song, it's no games to me. This is real. I am as real as it gets. I'm a competitor. I might not brag the most. I might not yell the most or scream the most or be the loudest one in the room, but trust me, I am fucking real.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kamaru, when you were, after the fight, you came to the middle of the ring, you were on your knees looking at Burns, his back was to you as he was dealing with the loss. What was going through your mind there?
It was hard. That was hard. That was very, very hard for me to see because I was responsible for that. Like I said, this is a guy that I grew up with in the sport. We trained together each and every day. We gravitated towards one another because we shared a common goal. And I loved his work ethic, and he saw my work ethic, you know. And so, of course, we spent a lot of time together, which is why this one was a little. It was business, but of course, it was personal as well, you know, because he was coming after what I had and saying that he was next. He was going to be the champion, and they know that I'm different, you know. And for that, it just kind of. It hurt me in a sense, but You know, and then once I came to and saw what I had done, that one was tough for me to watch.
When you did you speak to his team, your old teammates? Were some of the issues buried?
Vicente was in his corner. I love Vicente Luque. That's another savage in the division as well. And the funny thing is, me and Vicente was actually the people who the two who had this talk. You know, if we were ever in this position, you know, what we would do. We had that talk early in our career because me and him were both on the Ultimate Fighter. And once we got off the Ultimate Fighter, we had that talk. So I'm pretty close to him in that sense. And so, yeah, you know, just, you know, said what I had to say, you know.
Issues buried?
Yeah, I mean, you know, this was another challenger. You know, it was a little more personable leading up, but, you know, it was business as usual. I went in there, took care of business, and now on to the next.
And many people felt like Gilbert Burns was, you know, the one to really challenge you, and you've gone through him. You know, Jorge, you've beat him. It sounds like it's more personal to fight him again, but who do you really see as that person that could really challenge you?
I've said it before. These guys don't understand my mind for the sport. And my mind is different than all these guys. And so, of course, everyone's going to, what they said, oh, Burns, he has the jiu-jitsu. He's not worried about it. I saw all these critics. Dan Hardy, he's not worried about it. He's gonna, you know, he can submit him anywhere, do this and do that. I just got to worry about me. Once I know, when I started this, when I was 14 years old, no one had to tell me to go on extra runs. No one had to tell me to make a sauna in my own house, in the bathroom, and waste all the hot water. No one had to tell me that. I said, hey, I want to be the best. I want to beat those guys at the top. I'm going to do all this extra stuff. That's how my mind works. So when I get in there, you know, it's different. These guys don't understand. It might not look the prettiest. And so people are sitting at home, oh, I can do that. I can do that. What did Tyron Woodley say? He said, I would do everything better than you. What did I say to him? I will dominate you in every aspect of the game. And what did I do? And what did Colby Covington say? He's going to leave me on a stretcher. And then I said, what? I will punish you for 4.5 rounds, and then I will get you out of there. And then what did Masvidal say? I'm going to baptize him. This fake Jesus wannabe, I'm going to baptize him. We know what happened. Same here. So, you know, these guys can say whatever they want, but, you know, I go in there and I take care of business.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Come on, you said the right hand that hit you kind of, you know, got you into the fight a little bit, woke you up. Did you expect him to fly across the cage at the beginning though? With that, he kind of swung at you right away.
In a sense, yes, because it was a mental battle. This was a mental battle. You know, like I said, our sparrings went a lot like that, and so he's got a lot of confidence. And me and my coach Trevor, we talk about it. He's got a lot of confidence. You know, he was coming in with all that confidence. We haven't trained together in quite some time. So in his mind, I knew he had to come in and tell me that, hey, I'm not little bro. I'm here to take that from you. I knew he was going to come. But my mind is stronger than all these guys. I just had to stay composed, find my footing, start picking them off. And I only do this as fight progresses, you know, and that's kind of what happened.
It's kind of a, you know, it's a weird stat, I guess, but you caught yourself from going down when he hit you. Like you stopped yourself, you held yourself up. So still no knockdown.
Oh shit, this man, he didn't come to play.
But they didn't, obviously it wasn't credited as a knockdown for him, so still none on your record. Is that important to you?
I don't care about that. I don't care about stats. You know, I love seeing them when I'm preparing for a fight and they're like, oh man, he's never this, never done that. He's tied for this, tied for... I love seeing the stats, but I don't worry about that. If I was worried about that, then I wouldn't have been present in there. You know, I try not to worry about those stats. I just let them pile up.
And you've talked, you know, here and there, bits and pieces in the past about your dad and his story, but now that it's kind of out there, everybody got to watch the piece and everything, and understand that. Like, how did you feel just having, you know, kind of your life opened up like that?
It's tough for me. I'm pretty private, you know, but it's something that I had to talk to him first. I had to get his permission. I mean, I'm a grown man. I can do what I want, but I had to get his permission for that. I talked to him and I said, hey, I think this is a story that needs to be said, and people need to hear this because, there's so many other people that actually deal with situations like that as well. And so I talked to him, and I had to convince him a little bit, but he got around to the idea, and then we did the piece. But I'm glad he's home. He was on the phone screaming. Like I said, I didn't want to cheat him this experience. I wanted him to be here and really experience a full UFC experience. So hopefully, fingers crossed, COVID magically disappears and we're able to have full arena shows again.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all.
Trevor.
Good, bad, all. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Alright, y'all, that's it. Thanks for watching the stream. Appreciate
Yeah, I think very much. I think someone who understands the